ostracized. You will be penalized for it. You will be regulated around these considerations, and your reaction to that will denote what happens next with your business.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, I guess from a sector perspective, you have to be efficient. There's
Yes.
only so much of it.
Big time.
So actually, we can't afford to be laxy-daisy on that topic at all. Because we literally don't have enough.
Yeah.
And so we have to get creative, and we are trying to be, but there's more to be done. You talk about diversity, you talk about skills and talent.
Yeah.
It's one of the core reasons why I've set up the LEAP initiative, which is all about bringing fresh talent to the sector and the market, and making, you know, education and information accessible to everyone for free. You know, it's because we need perspectives that are unique and different. We need different ways of working and thinking, and I think that's definitely changing, and we're seeing that more and more. But there's definitely still a lot of work to do.
There's a ton to do. You know, I spoke with Nick about this. You know, I'm involved with an organisation that I've started with a friend of mine called Innovative Opportunities, IO as we call it, or 1 and a 0 because we're trying to be really kind of, you know.
So we put a plus in DC. We're just equally as cool, Steve.
Mate, we know, right?
Yeah.
So
T-shirts next to
yeah. We could even do a thing. Times, a little X in between.
A little plus there.
Perfect. Love it. So we equally, because of what we felt about the industry, and we sort of bring in thought leaders into the picture who talk to year 11s and 6th formers about the industry, and they impart knowledge. They talk. You know, we've got a place where they can go to, and they do all of that, and that brings in, as we see it, fresh eyes, fresh people. You know, again, that DEI space. Yeah. Brings a lot of people into that, and enables them to see that it's not this strange thing, this strange place. It's not a space that you can't be in as well.
Yeah, I think that's the most daunting thing about data centers on a really personal level. You know, I turned this job down twice.
Really?
People would think I was crazy, and I think I was crazy now. You know, at the time I was leading sustainability and in JLL's projects and development space, and so the idea of taking a leadership position in data centers, well, I'm not an engineer. A technical engineer, so you know I've run projects, and I know projects. And then what I realized, having entered the industry, was that actually you absolutely need that diversity of skills and experience to the table. And it's not that I didn't have anything to add; it was the fact that it was just daunting. And the way that we talk as a sector can at times, you know, put people off because. Talk about accessibility. You know, when I first started looking into the LEAP initiative, I would go online and try and find material information, and it was really, really difficult because it was who you know, or it was, you know, great academies and things that are set up. But if I'm somebody that was potentially made redundant and I'm looking at a career opportunity and I've heard about data centers, or if I'm looking to have a career change, or if I'm looking from a 16-year-old leaving school, information, one, I'm not necessarily aware of what data centers are or what they do, other than what I might have read in the news. And then second of all, actually when I'm looking, it's behind a paywall. So, and I can't afford it. You know, I'm 16 years old. I'm about to leave school. I can't afford £5,000 for an academy. So it was really brought out of a need to make information more accessible. And the reason we started this was really to really share and showcase and have honest conversations about the role that data centers play in modern society, and the fact that hopefully that will help us to bring in fresh people, fresh perspectives from all different backgrounds, and make data centers more accessible to them.
I think it's brilliant. You know, I really do. You know, I was saying about, you know, coming here and having conversations that do kind of go beneath the surface, the things that are unsaid. You know, sometimes you go into these places eyes wide open. Sometimes you go in there going, freaking hell, I wish I'd closed my eyes before entering the room. It's a very, very daunting place. It's very big. It's big infrastructure. It's a lot of risk. It's a risk-averse space.
Yep.
It presents itself as being very secretive. It's almost like I sometimes feel as if you're in some unknown members club, right, that no one knows about. And you enter the door, and the first things that people go is, I wasn't expecting that, right? So you're kind of, you know, I always say that, you know, when you are coming from a diverse background, you're entering a room and you are going to be a peacock. So flaunt your feathers, yeah? You know, and make sure it's known and give a little ruffle, right?
My God, Steve.
So it's
giving us some good content right there. Do that shake again.
Yeah, we'll have to put this on after 9 o'clock this
and I'll tell you why. Because you don't get many chances, right? And especially among certain arenas, right? And if you don't flaunt your feathers, right, no one's going to see it. And if you make your voice small, no one's going to hear it. So you've got to carry that kind of, you know, that way of thinking, you know, and it allows for you to actually, people will either go, right, great, I'll invite them back again, or they'll go, no way, I ever heard with this guy, bloody hell, his voice felt the room, right?
That's right, you sound like Mufasa.
The Mufasa-ness came out.
Just saying, remember who you are too.
Remember.
So it's important, and it also, you know, you're open. I always feel as if you are making yourself seen means that others can get seen, right? You know, I'm hopefully we'll reach a stage where that doesn't have to happen. Hopefully you reach a stage where, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then hopefully one day everyone just goes, well, it's just a person who came through the door.
So it's really interesting you say that, because for me on a personal level, in case I've noticed I'm brown and a female, you know, and so, really?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Fake tans, lay it up well. But, you know, for me, you know, I used to have a bit of a chip on my shoulder that it was all about not being uber clear that I'm not here because of those reasons. I'm here because I'm really good at my job. And so it made me actually work harder. I was the one that worked the longest and the hardest and you know, going out of your way to prove yourself. And so because I didn't want to be known for somebody who was hired because I look a certain way. I'm hired because I can do my job and I can do it really, really well. And it's taken time for me to actually change that perception and be like, right, actually, I'm here because I deserve a seat.
Absolutely.
And I don't always feel that way. I'm not going to lie. You know, I walk in a room with like geniuses in data centers and I sit there and I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, don't say anything really stupid. I might have dropped a few clangers in already today. So, you know, I just called you Mufasa. But, you know,
I see the taglines going everywhere.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Hana called Steve Mufasa. Can you believe it? You know, all sort of stuff.
That's your new nickname. Industry-wide. But you know, so it's about making sure that you are able, but you're right, we need to showcase the sector to show what it can bring to communities and to the world around us. We then need to showcase individuals who are role models and can share very human, normal discussions and career stories that actually can help people think, right, just because I don't want to go to university doesn't mean I can't have an apprenticeship, and that can lead to a really good career. Or actually I went to university, I've studied something in sustainability as an example, but data centers is a sector I can join and really have a real influence in as well.